All right, insurance pros, let's look at the CBPR assessment form and how it stacks up against the cyber insurance applications you know and work with. This isn't a 5-question tick box. It's a comprehensive review of how a business actually manages data, privacy, and security. The intake form covers every dimension of a company's privacy practices. Notice, do they clearly tell people what's being collected, why, and who it's shared with? Collection limits. Are they only collecting what's necessary and by fair means? Use of information. Is personal data used only for the purposes stated, or do they have controls for other uses? Choice. Do individuals have real mechanisms to opt in or out of how their information is used? Integrity and security. Are safeguards in place, policies, training, technical protections, and are they proportional to the sensitivity of the data? Access and correction. Can individuals see, correct, or delete their data in a timely way? Accountability. Are there structures in place, policies, contracts, spot checks to make sure these standards are actually enforced? In other words, it's not about if you collect personal data, it's about how responsibly you do it at every stage. Now compare the CBPR assessment form to a standard cyber insurance application. Both ask about security safeguards, things like firewalls, MFA, intrusion detection, incident response plans. Both touch on data handling and third-party vendors. Both want to know how you handle breach notification and regulatory obligations. But here's the real difference. A cyber app is focused on risk transfer. It tells the insurer whether your client is a good bet. The CBPR intake form is about compliance and certification, proving that the business meets privacy principles across borders. And here's the key takeaway for insurance. When a company demonstrates compliance with local legislation, whether that's PIPEDA, provincial privacy laws, or now CBPR requirements, it makes the risk far more palatable to insurers. Why? Because compliance lowers the likelihood of fines, regulatory investigations, and messy breach fallout. So while a cyber app helps an insurer decide if they'll cover the risk, a CBPR intake shows whether the client is already aligned with the very frameworks that regulators will hold them accountable to. For brokers and underwriters, this is big. Imagine an SME client applying for cyber coverage. Their CBPR intake answers could become a red flag for insurers if they show gaps in privacy practices. On the flip side, a CBPR certified client could be viewed as lower risk, potentially impacting premiums or coverage terms. And if accountability agents end up as the certifiers, their intake forms might become as influential to underwriting as loss runs or financial statements. So here's where I'd love your take. Should insurers start aligning cyber applications with CBPR intake criteria? Would CBPR certification give you more confidence in binding coverage for cross-border clients? And how do we prepare SMEs for a process this detailed when many struggle with even basic cyber hygiene? Drop your thoughts, and don't forget to follow us here on LinkedIn for more updates as we continue working with regulators to bridge privacy compliance and insurance risk.